What's up? It's Adam Smith from the CommanderSmiths, and it is Proxy Time. This week we are looking at Solemn Simulacrum. This is a card that is used quite a bit in EDH, and surprisingly, I have not made a proxy of this card yet. So I've been using one that I found online. I figured it was time to actually give this one a shot here. So again, I did a Google search, Solemn Simulacrum, used art, and that's how I kind of found this one. And then I used this version of that from Scryfall. This is in quite a few decks, actually. If you look here, 71,000 EDH rec decks. So this is a good one to work off of today. There was two versions. I was trying to decide between this one and this one. This one's a little more known. It's not the original one, but this one is used quite a bit for their art. And this one, the other one just seemed a little darker. I kind of chose this one because I kind of want to utilize this part, the stomach part here, to throw in our symbol at the end. So I'm kind of planning a little bit ahead. And I'm kind of figuring I like this cylinder thing that he's standing on. And I might try to utilize that in the bottom of the card. But I don't know how that's going to be until we get to that point. So let's first start. Actually, let's crop this a little bit. So normally I don't have this white layer. So let's crop that out before we even start messing with this. All right, come on, crop. There we go. So we're just going to just match it up so that we know what we're working with here. There to there. Grab that to there. All right, so then we just get, oops, do a little more cropping. Missed that edge part there. And there we go. That should be good enough anyways. Even though there's some white here, we're still going to crop it once we get the card down. So let's jump to the card and start copying all this stuff here. And I'm just going to pull all that there. Now, as you can tell, this week I am not using known bands because I noticed YouTube flagged me on the fact that the songs I was using were copyright. So I was like, all right, I guess I got to use just some random music for the background. So these are just free songs that I got off of YouTube that are just playing in the background. So it's a little more techno. If you guys want to dance while you're watching me edit this stuff here. Okay, so this one isn't cooperating as well. Let's get that edge there. Maybe I'll just skip on. I just want to see how that looks. I'm not sure if I like this edge or not here. Sometimes I like to include that, but it looks like it's going to grab everything there. Yep, see how it's doing that. So two things we can do. Let's see what happens when we grab here. And it's doing the same thing. And it's just the version that I'm grabbing here, so that's kind of why it's blending in with that. So I could do one of two things. If I really want that included, which I don't think I need it at this time, but I could use this tool here and kind of start trying to grab that, or later I can shade it in. See, I kind of want this top part, so we're gonna do it. Let's see what we can grab here. It's gonna be a little bit longer than I would want, but I think this might work out pretty good. And then when we're doing the stamp tool later, ooh. God, I don't know if I really want all that. I'm backing it up. I am backing it up. And actually what I'm noticing right here is I didn't get that. So when I go to edit here, I'm going to probably stamp this out and then make it kind of blend in there. And we'll keep this side like that. So let's move up to the top. Oh, there's a couple other things. Got to make sure we catch all those. There's one there. And then there. All right, I don't see anything else. So let's move up. Get him in here. This one isn't being as crisp. Like normally, I can just like hit this and it gets everything that I want. And this one's making me actually work at it to make this video be a lot longer than I want it to be. Oh, went a little lower than I wanted. Let's get the shadow. I do like the shadow being in there. Okay. See that there. That grabbed it the way I wanted it to. Okay, everything else looks good there. So let's copy. Let's jump over to our image. Paste. Shrink that bad boy down. Man, this music's going crazy. I might have to like turn it down a little bit. It's getting me amped to just do proxies, I guess. I don't know. I really wish I could do my music. All right, I think that's pretty good because we're going to get his face kind of taking over the image there. And then we can kind of utilize the cylinder kind of going over here, over the bottom, but not take up too much of the card where it messes with that. So now we do the cropping of the actual card here. All right, it's going to make me actually draw it up because I already cropped once. Normally I try to wait and see where it's picking to go, but this is making me do it because I've already done it. Move it down a little bit. Oh, it's going to get that white, and I don't want that white in there. So we'll just go from there to there. Move this in a little bit. Move that in a little bit. I think we're good there. All right, I think that looks pretty solid. So let's start looking what we can edit here. Yeah, for sure. And we can use this is for sure coming out. And we're going to cover all that. That's going to be a little bit of work because it's not just a solid thing. So we're going to have to take the pieces here. As for the bottom, I think I'll just keep it as is here where you can see it going through. But then I will make all of this. This will be the easy stuff. So we're going to start with that actually. We're going to do the cylinder and just pop that out just so it really looks like it's there. So let's do the first things first. Go to your background, do your stamp tool, Alt, click again. Now we can go over here. I want to zoom in a little bit and I want to make this a little bit bigger. That's what she said. She always says that. I wish she didn't say that. Now we want to change this to the 100% there. So because we all know it's a 2-2 and it's not going to get completely covered, and we'll do a little shading so it gives almost shadow on that with that ball there. And really what it is I'm not going to get the feet or anything like that. I just really want that ball to be what comes out. All right. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let's zoom this out to kind of check it out to see how this looks. And I'm going to bring everything to the front. All right. That looks pretty decent. I might bring a little bit more here. So we're going to be at 70. Man, I almost feel like I want a little bit more of that. I can't decide if I really want that crisp or if I want that to have that fade. Part of me feels like I want it crisp. So let's redo this a little bit. We're going to make this line, because right now, see, I have that fading tool there. I think this might look a little bit better if our lines are completely crisp. So we're going to change that to these lines here. And just start going with that, because I think that might look, that's a little bit harder because you got to make sure you're a little more precise with this. But this might make that ball look a little more realistic coming forward here. All right, that was getting a text message there. Just distractions all over the place. All right, get that ball going. And I think I want to keep utilizing, even though the ball doesn't continue there. Part of me is like, do you make that ball? That's the thing, is you got to do it, and then we zoom out and kind of check and see what looks good. Because what part of me is thinking is his foot shouldn't be part of that, because that looks. Oh, because see, that looks really good. How that comes up right there. Looks pretty sweet. I'm not sure if the foot part should be there. I almost think I should just do the ball and have his foot. So we're going to zoom out or redo what I was doing there. All right, come on. Oh man, it's going to make me go all the way back. Dang. Let's see here. So I just don't know. I think what it needs to be is just more of the ball. This is going to be a longer video today because I am indecisive of how I want to do this. Because his foot being on there looks really good standing on that ball. But this part being faded, I'm not sure if I want it like that. So this part I should do first. Yeah, that looks solid. Oh, I'm a little too far on that one. Still going too far with that one. Still not sure about that over here. Not sure what I want to do there. Part of me wants to just continue to make this cylinder, this circle thing, look like it's just continuing, but then it's going right through his foot. So maybe I do just draw a line and pretend like this cylinder just keeps going. Maybe that's what we do. I know I did it already that way. I'm getting a little bumpy here. I might have to redo some of those lines there. Let's zoom out and look at it again. Oh, this one's getting a little more tricky than I normally. Yeah, see, there's too much of a gap there. So we're gonna redo that a little bit. See, that one's fine there. So let's go right here and continue that circle. And we want to connect to that one. So we'll just bring it in. We're really going to try to just utilize that shape. I know it's a little weird because his foot, you know, you should be actually utilizing his foot being there. Make it at least part of the image, but we're really just trying to show is that circle is there. So it looks kind of funky. It doesn't look funky once it's done, but it's odd. Well, you know what I could do? Oh, this is a lot more work. But we could bring his leg. Let's see, what are we losing here? When Solemn Simulacrum, so it's saying the name. If I just bring this leg, there's a battlefield. You may search. So what I might do is let's bring that down here, and we're going to do the fade tool. So we're going to utilize his leg. I'm not going to make it that big because that's a little too much. So we're going to utilize his leg coming up here. Only this leg. This leg will leave behind. So then we're going to make this have that feel like he's stepping over the text box. I think that's how we're going to solve this whole thing of making that circle that I want to keep in there. This is going to be a little more difficult, so we'll just start. Let's start fading this in a little bit. Get the meat and potatoes of this whole leg in there. All right. And right up here. The nice thing is, and this is at 50%, you'll be able to see a lot of this. And I might fade in a little bit more. Let's shrink this up a little bit. Right there is probably good. We'll bring that leg, that piece coming in. Because again, remember, we're going to go up to 70 is what I like to use. I'll bring this piece in a little bit. And this piece in. So every time I click over something that I've already done, it's going to make it fade a little bit more. As you can see right here, it's fading it a little bit more. So you can kind of take advantage of that. So I'm just trying to make sure that it makes sense. When Simulacrum dies, you may draw a card. Okay, so you can still see that. And if we pop this up to 70, yes, you can still see that. All right, so, but I want to fade, make sure there isn't actually a line going through his foot. But now we're still getting that feel of that circle, that cylinder on the bottom, which is what I really wanted in the first place. And now it looks like his leg is actually standing in front of the card or the text box, which is kind of what I wanted to get for the feel there. All right, is there any other loose pieces that I wanted to mess with over here? See, what we can do here too is we can maybe, I don't want to get rid of the golem part, but I do want to make this a little more crisper, not as faded. So we're going to get rid of that line by doing this a couple more times. But what I'm doing is I'm letting go of the mouse. Like I'm holding it down to draw a little bit, but then I keep clicking to get rid of that line eventually. So every time I let go of the mouse and click it, it keeps going over the same spot. And eventually it goes back to, you know, it's 100%. So that's how we get some of that to come over there. All right. I think that looks pretty good. I might take a little bit of this here too. Bring that in, bring that in. Let's get rid of those lines a little bit. And now I'm just remembering what we had talked about in the beginning. I got to get rid of this part here, but I want this to fade in a little bit so it doesn't look so obvious. So we're going to kind of bring it down here. Give us some color here. It's looking pretty nice with the color there. And you can still see what the card does underneath, which is the important part. And we're at that 70%. So you can still see all the text box. Yeah, granted, you might have to grab the card and look at it a little bit more. Most people know what this card does. I mean, newer players probably won't know exactly what it does. But for the most part, you should know. And at the same point, you're still being able to see that. So the only part I missed was right here. So we'll blend these two together. And then we'll zoom out and check this card out then. Okay, so let's see. That looks a lot more solid. And I may even bring in up a little higher for this because I really am bringing that leg out. Yeah, you can still see it. I don't know if I'll bring that like that. I really like seeing the one in the background. Okay, so that's done. Now let's move up to the top part. Definitely bringing his head in front. So that one we're going to make more of a solid. Yeah, let's just get, oh, we need that to go 100. And there we go. Now some things what you can do, and I'm not going to do it here. I'm just going to show you really quick. The easier way to do it is just go boom, his head and everything over here. And that's how you can kind of get away with just doing that. That's kind of an easy way to do it. So he's just in front, but that's not the thing that looks good. Got to spend a little more time to make it really look like a good proxy card that you want to continue to play with. Like I said, I like to play with my proxies more than I like the actual cards because, well, one, I'm making them, but two, I feel like they look better with it being full art and everything. So we're just spend the time because then it's a card that you're using all the time. So we do have some background there. I kind of want the card to shine through. So we're going to shrink this down a little bit harder with him being a robot. All these pieces. So you get the easy pieces first. And really what we should be doing is I need to be able to see through here. So let's get that down so I can see. All right, so I want this piece to come through there and there. Can even go a little bit there. All right, let's get that. And everybody knows Solemn Simulacrum. I always have fucking trouble saying it. That's why you just call it Sad Robot. But so that's why I can cover the name a little bit more. And a lot of times I do that. If it's a known one, I like to cover the name up because everybody pretty much knows what the card does or what it is. And I actually, in the text box, this one refers to its card name, so you see that. All right, so the next thing, let's get here. This is easy. Get the easy stuff first, so you can work on the hard stuff and keep. If you have to redo things, then it's a little bit easier. Let's get the bigger thing here. Okay, and I think that's good there. Yeah. It's nice when you don't have to change the tool around much. All right, so we got that one. So we're going to shrink this down just a little bit because we got a spike here that we're going to deal with. I don't know if I like that. So we're going to zoom or redo that. But I do want that part of it. Let me zoom out on that. Okay, looks like part of it. Sometimes what I've done before is something that is part of it, it just looks goofy when you bring it out. And so then I'll just keep it in the background so it stays behind and you don't actually see it. So if this one kind of looked off for what it's supposed to be, I might have left it there and just been like, oh, it's just like a shadow. You know, you don't really notice it when you make the card. But that actually made it look good. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for what I want to do here. Let's zoom way out with that. Oh, yeah. Dude, that looks solid. That looks really solid. That looks like this half of his body is really in the sunlight, and then you got to fade to the back here. So let's see what it would look like with the 70. Yeah. That is pretty solid. Still trying to decide one thing that's bothering me. I'm just looking at it. Is the feet part. That might be me just being anal about it, but I think it looks all right. Let me look. Back it up. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, so we got to fix that part before I forget about it. Over here. Let's get a little closer because we're going to get rid of this part because that just looks funny. Because your other side, you don't have it. It's not symmetrical. So we just want to... Oh, that was a little much. We want this to bounce, like, be straight coming up like that. There. I will zoom out after I get that. That might have been a little much there. I don't want much of the black gone. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Okay. That looks pretty solid. All right. And then what I want to do, the last thing, this turned out to be a really nice card. I like how this, for the time, and that's the thing, is sometimes it takes longer, and I didn't practice ahead of time with this one. I was just kind of working through what I normally do. I'm trying to do that, you know, just show you what my mindset goes through. And so I looked at it beforehand to just be like, okay, we'll probably edit here and edit there. But for the most part, I was on the fly. So, all right, let's bring that over here. And like I said, from the beginning, I kind of knew where I wanted to go with this symbol, and that's where I'm going to go with it. And what I have to decide is I can keep that sucker. Okay, so here's a cool thing. So this is how I like when you can utilize the symbol in you. I'm saying utilize a lot with this episode, but make this symbol feel like part of the picture here. So what we're going to do is now I'll get this here, but then we're going to start bringing all this stuff in front. So it really feels like it's part of this design. So now let's zoom in, and I really want this to be see-through so I can see. So I'm going to bring these prongs going into there. So we're going to do the same thing again. Make sure everything's right there. All right. So bring this to the front, hopefully. Are you not going to let me? Or do I have to do that layer? Oh, you son of a bitch. Should be bringing that front. Let's just do the stamp tool one more time, just to make sure. It should be letting me bring this there. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Okay. You know what it might be is it was doing it. Oh, no. There we go. There we go. So yeah, we're totally, that's what it is. The color is pretty close underneath. So it actually doesn't look like it's bringing it in, but it is actually. You can see that one. It is there. We'll bring it in here. Is there any other pieces that are sitting out? Let's shrink that down to get that point in there. Okay, so now let's zoom out. Oh, this is going to look sweet. I think I'm going to really like this. Oh, yeah. That looks pretty amazing. I like that a lot. That symbol in there. Perfect. Now I got to decide on the brightness. Do I want it solid there or faded? I think about 60% looks pretty good. Yeah. We're going to get in the 60s there. Okay. I think that's it. There may be a little bit of touch up here I'm seeing now. Right at the top there. So you got this. It isn't pretty. This is fine coming around the bottom. But we want to kind of touch this up just a little bit. And then that'll be pretty much it with this card. I think we are pretty solid. Make sure you're on the right layer there. And we just take that part out. I can probably get this a little bigger. There we go. Yeah, and then we'll let that stay on the bottom. We'll kind of give it so it actually might leave that part in so it kind of feels like three-dimensional a little bit, like that was meant to stick out a little. Okay, let's zoom out and look at that now. Since it's on both sides, I might remove it there because it is coming over the side there. So I want to give that 3D look a little bit. So let's get rid of that bottom part here and kind of wrap it so it comes around. There we go. Yeah, that looks better. That looks a little more realistic, a little 3D action there. So yeah, that's Solemn Simulacrum. You know, sad robot. So that should do it for this week. You guys can check out our podcast and all that stuff, or check us out on Twitter. It's CommanderSmiths. I'm Adam Smith, and I'll check you next time. We'll see ya.